Carl Jung made a discovery that still helps explain experiences many people struggle to put into words. He realized there's a type of person who doesn't just live on the surface. While most only register what's visible, these people pick up subtle signals. An almost imperceptible change in tone, the stiffness of a gesture, the emotion hidden behind a smile. It's as if they possess an extra lens, one that reveals hidden layers of reality. Maybe you've felt this way, as if there were an invisible code in human interactions, a secret manual no one talks about, but you can read it. While everyone else seems to move on autopilot, you notice contradictions, sense when words don't match the eyes, or feel the tension no one dares to mention. Seeing too much means you can't lie to yourself the way others do. And that kind of perception comes with a side effect, exclusion. You take part in conversations, but hear the nervousness in your colleague's voice. You laugh at a joke, but sense the emptiness behind the one who told it. It's like standing in the middle of a play where everyone believes in the characters, while you clearly see the strings holding the set together. Here's the central point. If this resonates with you, it's not a flaw, it's a difference. Jung showed that heightened sensitivity can feel uncomfortable at first, but in truth, it's a rare form of awareness. A kind of clarity that, when misunderstood, weighs heavily, but when embraced, reveals a unique potential for understanding and transformation. And what few people realize is that this condition creates a kind of silent community. Individuals scattered across the world, rarely crossing paths, yet sharing the same intensity of perception. They aren't marked by symbols or uniforms, but by their ability to pierce through appearances and notice what others can't. If you identify with this, you're already part of that minority. You're not alone, even if you believed you were for a long time. It's like belonging to a quiet tribe, connected not by physical closeness but by a shared calling. To sustain a rare awareness in a world addicted to superficiality. Back in 1913, Jung had a patient walk into his office who seemed to be carrying some kind of invisible secret. She wasn't there because of delusions or hallucinations. Nope, the issue was something else entirely. She could pick up on tensions no one else seemed to notice. In the middle of casual conversations, she'd catch a hidden look of contempt, a fake laugh, a silence that felt way too heavy, while everyone else just kept going like nothing was happening. She sank deeper into the loneliness of seeing beneath the surface. She described it like living in two worlds at once. The visible one, where everyone pretended everything was fine, and the invisible one, where tiny gestures exposed resentment, envy, fear. And here's the kicker. When she tried sharing what she noticed, people labeled her as complicated, fragile, even paranoid. Bit by bit, she learned to shut up, and that silence pushed her straight into isolation. Have you ever felt that? The pain of seeing too much and having no one to share it with? Funny enough, modern research backs this up. Elaine Aron, for example, came up with the concept of highly sensitive people, HSPs, showing there's actually a biological basis for those who pick up on subtle signals that fly right past the majority. Their brains fire harder in response to stimuli, they process things more deeply, and that's not a defect. It's just a different operating system. Think of it like running a more detailed software program, but one that demands a higher price. Now here's the powerful part. Jung was noticing this in 1913, long before science would ever catch up. He saw that some individuals carried this differentiated perception, as if they could read between the lines of the human psyche. It made them more vulnerable to burnout and rejection, sure, but it also drew them closer to a rare kind of understanding about the human soul. You might be in that same group without ever having been given the words for it. And here comes the dramatic truth. One you probably need to hear right now. You're not broken. You're not too fragile or too complicated. You're just operating on a level of perception most people will never reach. It's like trying to explain colors to someone who only sees in black and white. You can't expect them to understand what you see. That difference that's caused you so much pain could actually be the key to a richer life if you learn how to handle it. And maybe the real turning point is right here. When you stop believing your sensitivity is a prison and start seeing it as a path. That's when loneliness stops being a punishment and becomes an invitation. An invitation to understand your own nature better and to figure out how to use this gift without being swallowed by it. And that transformation only begins when you look inward with the same sharp eye you've always used to read others. That patient Jung saw in 1913 wasn't some isolated case. What she went through was just the tip of a phenomenon he was beginning to notice in others as well. It was like there was a hidden layer of reality that only a few people could access. Jung called it differentiated perception. It wasn't exaggeration, and it sure wasn't delusion. It was a rare kind of vision, a consciousness that picked up on things most people would never catch. Ever noticed how someone smiles, but the corner of their lips twitches with insecurity? Or how a compliment comes out of their mouth, but their eyes give away envy? Most people miss those signals, but if you carry this kind of perception, they're glaringly obvious. It's like spotting cracks in glass that looks perfectly fine. Nobody else notices until it shatters, but you felt its weakness from the very start. And this goes way beyond facial expressions. It shows up anywhere. You walk into a room and feel the heaviness before anyone says a word. You hear about someone's promotion and instantly sense the panic behind the smile, the fear of losing it all. Or you just know your friend's not okay, even when he insists he's fine. The world can be fooled, but not you. It's like carrying a camera that captures what never makes it onto the stage. The best metaphor? Think of an uncomfortable mirror. Not the one that flatters you, but one that highlights the stains, the scars, the eyes that shift away. You've become that living mirror, able to reflect back what others try to hide, even from themselves. And that's why so many people feel uneasy around you. It's not what you say, it's that your very presence threatens to shatter the mask they've worked so hard to keep intact. But here's the catch, this gift comes with a price. While the world floats on the surface, you're pulled to dive deep. That can mean exhaustion, fear of losing your grip, or even wishing you didn't notice so much. Yet it also opens doors to clarity, authenticity, and real connection. Deep down, you're like the one holding a flashlight in a pitch-black basement. You see it first, but you also carry the weight of what you discover. And if while hearing this you're thinking, "That's me, that's exactly what I go through," then I want to hear from you. Drop a comment sharing a time when you noticed something no one else picked up on. And if you want more answers about Jung and how to turn this sensitivity into strength, hit the like button and subscribe. Because in the next step, you'll learn not just how to deal with this vision, but how to use it to your advantage. Having differentiated perception also means dealing with consequences most people don't see. The first one is isolation. Because you notice details no one else picks up on, you often feel out of place in groups and conversations. People might label you as too intense or too sensitive, and that creates a sense of not belonging. The result is distance, many times not even by choice. Another common cost is exhaustion. Your mind doesn't switch off. It's always scanning, always picking up signals, emotions, and tensions in the air. That constant alertness drains energy. Even in simple social gatherings, you walk away more tired than everyone else, like you've just run an emotional marathon. The fatigue doesn't come from what you do, but mostly from what you feel. Relationships also become trickier. For you, small talk or polite, scripted exchanges feel empty. That's why shallow relationships lose their appeal fast. You need authentic and meaningful connections, because only in those do you find relief and purpose. For someone with this kind of perception, depth isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. This discomfort shows up in everyday life. While others enjoy casual banter, you feel like you're wasting time. What seems normal to many feels draining to you, and that can create the impression that you're antisocial, when in reality you just don't see value in superficiality. There's also a hidden factor, absorbing emotions that aren't even yours. People like you feel sadness, anxiety, or anger without knowing where it came from. Jung called this participation mystique, when we're so connected to our environment that we carry other people's feelings as if they were our own. Without realizing it, you might be living through pain that doesn't belong to your story. Recognizing these costs is key, because once you understand that isolation, exhaustion, and even absorbing emotions are all part of the same phenomenon, you can look at yourself with more clarity. It's not weakness and it's not a flaw. It's simply the price of seeing deeper. And in the next point, you'll learn how to turn that weight into real strength. We've seen that the price of seeing too deeply often shows up as isolation and exhaustion. So it's only natural to ask yourself, why do I feel so much while others don't? Jung showed that it's not madness, but simply different ways intuition expresses itself. Once you understand your type, you realize you're not broken, you're just carrying a channel of perception that works differently. If your biggest struggle is feeling other people's pain as if it were your own, you're likely closer to the feeling intuitive. That's when someone else's sadness becomes yours, or their anxiety sits heavy in your chest as if it belonged to you. This emotional fusion explains why you come home drained even when you haven't done anything physical. The pain isn't yours, but you carry it as if it were. Just naming it already brings relief. Maybe your struggle is with constant overthinking. The thinking intuitive suffers because they see things too soon. You predict when something's about to go wrong, you sense inconsistencies in people's words, and you know the ending before anyone else does. The problem? No one believes you. That disbelief leaves you lonely, stuck watching people confirm only later what you already knew. It's like living with your mind on high alert 24/7. Then there's the sensation intuitive, whose pain shows up through the body. You feel tensions others miss, pick up on illnesses before they're diagnosed, or get chills in heavy environments. People might call you dramatic or paranoid, but that's not the case. Your body speaks for you. The overload happens because every space, every person, leaves a physical imprint on you. Finally, there's the pure intuitive, who suffers in a different way. From the flood of insights that arrive without explanation. You just know things, and sometimes it even scares you. This avalanche of perceptions can shake your sense of identity because it feels like your mind never rests. Stability is hard to hold when your awareness is constantly picking up signals from every direction. When you recognize yourself in one of these types, you realize your pain has a name and a structure. It's not a weakness. It's the mark of a rare way the psyche works. Knowing this won't erase the weight, but it changes how you carry it. What once looked like a flaw starts to reveal itself as a gift. One that needs direction, not denial. There's a thin line between seeing beyond and being able to handle what you see. Jung warned that certain perceptions, when brought too far into awareness, can make social life almost unbearable. After all, society runs on invisible pacts. Everyone agrees not to notice certain truths so we can live together. The moment you break that pact, you face risks that aren't just personal but collective. The first danger is disrupting the collective. When you expose what others would rather keep hidden, discomfort is inevitable. Your very presence can reveal contradictions, tensions, and lies. It's like stepping into a brightly lit room and noticing stains that were invisible in the dark. Others don't want to see them, and they might respond with resistance, criticism, or even hostility. The second risk is psychological isolation. By noticing what no one else sees, you distance yourself without meaning to. Ordinary conversations lose their meaning, relationships lose depth, and you're left with the impression that you're speaking a language no one understands. That isolation eats away at you silently, leaving you feeling like you live parallel to the world, without truly belonging anywhere. The third danger is the dissolution of identity. When too much of the unconscious floods into consciousness, the mind loses its anchor. You stop distinguishing what's yours from what's external, drowning in a flood of impressions you can't organize. This lack of boundaries brings confusion, anxiety, and even the fear of losing yourself. It's the maximum overload of perception. The analogy is simple. When the unconscious becomes too conscious, social survival is threatened. Living in community requires a shared dose of ignorance. If you see what others refuse to face, you risk being rejected or even silenced. It's the heavy cost of carrying truths too raw for everyday life. Recognizing these dangers is essential if you want to understand your exhaustion or sense of not belonging. It's not weakness and it's not a flaw. Jung showed that these reactions are natural for those who see too much. What defines your journey isn't denying this gift. It's learning to use it without letting it destroy your inner peace or your ability to connect with others. Jung never saw this sensitivity as a flaw. On the contrary, he saw it as a calling, a sign that some people were meant to see deeper, even if it came at a cost in the beginning. The wound of loneliness, exhaustion, and difference wasn't the end of the story. It was the start of a greater path. Once you realize this, the weight takes on a whole new meaning. Your wound is also your gift. What once made you feel out of place might be the very thing that equips you to guide, to heal, or to create something the world desperately needs. It's the logic of the alchemist. The lead of pain turns into gold when integrated. That sensitivity that once felt like a curse reveals itself as a rare tool, one that brings clarity, empathy, and transformation into other people's lives. And here's something fascinating: the connections. People like you recognize their kind almost instantly. It's no coincidence. Jung called it synchronicity. Encounters that seem impossible yet carry the weight of a shared destiny. That's why, even after years of isolation, you feel a special strength the moment you meet someone who sees the world as you do. This calling also shows up in creative forms. Some channel their perception into art, others into writing, others into deep listening or even leadership. The key is understanding that this energy isn't meant to be suppressed but directed. Denying the gift only makes the suffering heavier. Embracing it, on the other hand, gives purpose and direction to what once felt like pure inner chaos. That's the turning point, when the gift stops being a burden and becomes a mission. When you realize you weren't placed here to fit into molds but to open paths, your perception no longer feels like a source of anguish. It becomes fuel for something greater. It's not about carrying the whole world, but about lighting up the parts that would stay in the dark without your vision. The greater purpose isn't perfection, it's contribution. It's accepting that your sensitivity exists for a reason, to awaken, to heal, and to inspire. This calling doesn't need to look grand in the eyes of the world. It only needs to be true to you and to those whose lives you touch. And in that movement, you stop being the person who suffers for seeing too much and become the one who gives meaning to what you see. Knowing your gift has a purpose is powerful, but you also need concrete practices to avoid getting lost in the flood of perceptions. The first is conscious solitude. This isn't about isolation, but about stepping away from the noise to listen to yourself. Walks without your phone, keeping a private journal, or moments of active silence help you sort through what you absorb and restore mental clarity. Another powerful tool is shadow work. Instead of rejecting criticism or discomfort, write them down and ask, "Where does this live in me?" That simple question takes you out of the victim role and turns discomfort into growth. Instead of being consumed by other people's projections, you learn to recognize and integrate what belongs to your own shadow. The third practice is creative expression. Your perception is far too intense to stay locked inside. Turning it into art, music, writing, or any form of creation gives shape to what you feel and organizes your mind. It also allows others to access, symbolically, what you see, making your sensitivity a channel of communication instead of a burden. Another essential step is cultivating selective circles. You don't need to connect with everyone, only with those who can truly understand your way of seeing. These rare connections act as a refuge, reminding you that you're not alone. By choosing carefully who you share your inner world with, you protect your energy and strengthen your identity. Finally, there's the practice of turning the gift into a mission. Teaching, creating projects, or sharing your insights. All of this gives meaning to what you perceive. By directing your sensitivity towards something greater, you stop being its prisoner. What once was a source of anguish becomes fuel for achievement, contribution, and even inspiration for others. And here's the key reminder. You don't need to suppress your gift. You need to direct it. Sensitivity isn't an enemy to be fought, but a force to be guided. By applying these practices, you'll discover you can live with clarity, peace, and purpose, without losing the depth that has always been part of you. Now you understand those who see what most people can't. We've seen how Jung recognized that seeing beyond can be both a gift and a burden. We walked through the dangers, the pains, and the psychological costs, but also the possibilities of turning this sensitivity into purpose. The main point is clear: you're not broken, you simply perceive on a rare frequency. This journey isn't about denying what you see, but about integrating it. When you accept that your wound is also your gift, it stops being a weight that isolates you and becomes fuel to create, to guide, and to connect in a real way. It's in that balance between clarity and self-care that sensitivity transforms into strength. And here's the impact phrase that sums it all up. The danger isn't seeing too much. The danger is not learning how to hold what you see. That's the key. What threatens you isn't the intensity of your perception, but the lack of structure to sustain it. Holding your vision is what turns it into a mission, not a curse. Now I want to hear from you. Drop a comment if you've ever felt like you could sense more than those around you. Sharing this doesn't just help you, it helps others going through the same silent struggle. That exchange might be the very first step to finding your circle of equals, like we talked about here. And of course, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Every piece of content here is made to validate, inspire, and bring clarity to those carrying gifts and pains few can understand. That's how we build a safe space to reflect together. Finally, here's my suggestion. If this video spoke to you, the next one will open your vision even more. Click on the end screen and keep going. Because the more you understand what you carry, the more you'll see you weren't born to drown in the overload. You were born to turn it into a path.